Welcome to our 2022 pitch event, and I think, like I said, you're going to enjoy the evening. Okay, I also want to welcome our live stream viewers. So for the third straight year, we're having Sheridan Media do our live stream, and they are taking photos, and it will help all the folks that are online kind of follow along. Just like our finalists, Sheridan Media spends hours in preparation for this, and so we definitely want to recognize them for their efforts. So you can kind of see all their pictures here. We really appreciate what they do. Okay, sponsors and supporters. So Impact 307 is a unit of the University of Wyoming, and our business incubator network now covers the entire state. So we have representatives here from Casper, from Green River, all across the state came here for this evening. Locally, Sheridan County and the city of Sheridan support our program. We wouldn't be able to serve nearly the number of entrepreneurs that we do without the support of our local elected officials, so we really, really appreciate their support. The Wyoming Business Council supports Impact 307 operations across the state, and we have several Business Council representatives in town for our community review that's happening, Sheridan Thrive 2035, and they'll be here all week doing listening sessions with some of our community members, and they happen to be here tonight, and hopefully they'll take in pitch night as well. And then finally, the Homer and Mildred Scott Foundation has donated to our seed fund in each of the 6 years that we have had the Sheridan Startup Challenge. So we appreciate the board of directors of the foundation in supporting us for all of these years. We also have an Audience Choice Award again this year. $2,000 provided by Sheridan Travel and Tourism. So we really thank Travel and Tourism, Sean Parker, for his support, and we'll give details on the Audience Choice Award very shortly. So once again, I think we're very blessed in Sheridan to have local news media that's a tremendous asset to our community. In addition to providing the Pitch Night live stream, the team at Sheridan Media has provided finalist feature coverage every morning in the lead up to our event. They've interviewed each of the 6 finalists, and they do wonderful event promotion, our radio commercials, and Country Bounty. We're very, very blessed to have them as part of our program. And then also the Sheridan Press, the other part of our local media, has done daily feature stories on our 6 finalists in the days leading up to Pitch Night. So a big thanks to Kristen Saban and her team for what they do for our community. Okay, so Badi Tola, we're very fortunate this year to have presentation graphic support from Badi Tola. He is the art director of Kroenke Sports and Entertainment in Denver. So we were very lucky to get someone of his caliber to help us with our presentation graphics. We've integrated videos, pictures. You will see very, very professional presentations. He spent hours with each of the 6 finalists in trying to get through their content and to customize it for their presentations. I think you'll see the result of his work tonight. And Badi, if you're on the live stream, we really appreciate your help. I think the 6 finalists will be very appreciative of your work. Thank you very much. We also want to extend a thank you, as usual, to Aaron Butler, Verl, Ross, and the rest of the WYO Theater team. Every year they let us use this very, very special venue in Sheridan, and we're very, very fortunate to be able to use a facility of this caliber. Thank you. Okay, and here's your local Impact Sheridan team. So the program would not be nearly as good as it is without the help of my team members. So Sky Heron provided valuable advising feedback to each of our finalists. Even this past weekend, she jumped in and did financial graphs. That's not in her sweet spot, but she powered through it. We really appreciate everything that she did, and she'll also have those slides in the presentation today. Jessica Madden heads up our marketing and promotion for the challenge, and she handles all event logistics. So we just had a pregame meal with the judge team. All the meals were delivered hot and on time. We really appreciate your efforts, Jessica, on that. She also helps promote each of our finalists. She does all of our social media marketing, and she is able to promote their businesses and business ideas without them having to spend $1 on marketing and promotion. So hopefully that's given them a jump start into what they have planned. And then our judge panel. So I'd like to introduce our judge panel for this evening. We have Tim Barnes. Laura Lehan let us know about an hour ago that she's not feeling well tonight, so she will not be part of the panel, but we're going to miss her, but we still have a number of judges that will make those tough decisions. That includes Brady Lewis, Annie Magera, Chelsea Paulus, Jesus Rios, and Jeremy Scott. I want to recognize the judges. They spend hours evaluating the business plans, the initial applications. We go through a semifinal round that's about 10 hours a time. And so I appreciate all the time that the judges put into this process. I think they'll have very difficult deliberations this evening because we have a number of outstanding plans, but hopefully the time that they put into it is worth it, and we'll continue to counsel and advise all of these finalists this evening. Okay, so the pitch night format. So each finalist will present their business ideas and aspirations. At the conclusion of each presentation, the judges will have an opportunity to ask questions of the finalists so they get clarifications about the plans. After the pitches are complete, the judges will convene to decide on the 3 winners and the initial allocations of the seed fund. So the finalists. This is our 6th startup challenge here in 2022. We started in 2017. We had 61 applicants this year. That was about 50% more than last year. So very, very significant interest in our community. And it really talks to the entrepreneurial spirit that Sheridan, Johnson County, our whole area has a very entrepreneurial mindset. The field was narrowed to 12 semifinalists through the judge reviews. The judges did meet with each of the semifinalists. They walked through presentations, did a lot of Q&A, and then at that point they decided on the 6 semifinalists that are presenting here tonight. There's no doubt that although these are the 6 finalists that made it through, there are a number of folks out there that we will continue to work with. There are a tremendous number of entrepreneurs and entrepreneurial energy in our area, and it's really a very satisfying thing from an incubator perspective to be able to work with them all. Okay, so the Audience Choice Award. So in addition to our judge panel, all live and live stream audience members will have an opportunity to absorb the details of each pitch and vote for their favorite business idea. The voting will commence at 6 p.m. and you'll have until about 15 minutes after the program concludes to get your vote in. We'll have an online tally application that captures all the results, and then the winner of the $2,000 Audience Choice Award will be announced live at the reception and posted on SheridanMedia.com. Okay, so what are the details on how to vote for Audience Choice? So what you'll need to do is you identify your favorite business plan as we kind of go through them this evening, and then you will text the corresponding number to 551-319-5799. And this is not a vote early, vote often. Only 1 vote for each person is logged. And then finally, so after we go through our 6 presentations, the judges will be excused to do their deliberations, and our live audience is invited to the finalist reception that will take place out in the lobby area in the YO's Lotus Lounge. The judges will deliberate for a few minutes, and then we will come and announce the winners. We will also post them on SheridanMedia.com, so all of the live stream viewers will have an opportunity to see the results posted later in the evening. Okay, with that, we're going to get our pitches underway. So our first finalist plan is O. Clarkey Reels. It's Rodney Fote, Zach Sexton, and Brad Williams. We're going to switch the presentations over and get going. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Good evening, Sheridan and Johnson counties. Great to have you make the effort to come out and see us today. Everybody here really appreciates your support. We are OCR, which stands for O. Clarkey Reels. O. Clarkey is the scientific name for our endemic cutthroat trout. Our really native one is O. Clarkey bovieri. So that's how committed to our locality we are. We really appreciate the local animals and the local businesses that we're going to be supporting through support of our business. We are an outdoor sporting goods company specializing in fly fishing reels. Our first product is a semi-automatic fly reel, which has features not available on any similar reel currently in the marketplace. This is a very unique piece of equipment right here, and we're about to show you why. This is us right here. We're smiling awkwardly. It's a little bit more natural tonight, isn't it? Isn't it? I don't know. All right, so we'll just do a quick introduction, Brad.
Yeah, my name is Brad Williams. I was born and raised in Wyoming. I attended the University of Wyoming, where I got my mechanical engineering degree. I love the outdoors. I love everything about it, camping, fishing, hiking, pretty much everything our great state has to offer. For OCR, I'll act as the lead of product development and engineering. And I'm also a co-owner in a company called Blacktooth Innovations, or BTI as we call it. And I want to give you a little background on that because you'll hear that a couple times this evening. Rodney and I started Blacktooth Innovations after working for quite a few years together in the scientific industry, where we made some products for material identification, which I enjoyed and I think Rodney enjoyed as well. But in 2018, we decided we wanted to do our own thing and start up a manufacturing and engineering design business ourselves. So a couple months after that conversation, we ended up being business owners with a couple machines making parts down in Buffalo. So during that time, I think we always envisioned having a product that was unique to Wyoming, but during that time we never really had a whole lot of time to develop that. Fast forward a couple of years and Zach walks in the door looking just like that.
Pretty much.
Yeah. He had some pretty decent ideas and a really big passion for fly fishing. So after a couple conversations with Zach, we all decided that we all like to catch fish, we all like to be outside, and he did have a couple good ideas, so it was something we were capable of producing with our backgrounds. So that's when we decided to partner with Zach, Blacktooth Innovations, and Zach partnering together to create OCR. So I hope that kind of helps summarize the relationship between the two businesses.
So I'm Rodney Folk, co-owner of Blacktooth Innovations and OCR, and much like Zach and Brad, enjoy all of the outdoor activities Wyoming has to offer: the camping, the backpacking, off-roading, and of course fishing. So my role in OCR is going to be very similar to my role in BTI, primarily centered around production, manufacturing, and assembly. Zach?
And I'm Zach Sexton. I'm the head of sales, marketing, and distribution. As Brad mentioned, a lot of the idea for the fly reel was mine. I have 29 years, at least, in the fly fishing business. Started working and just gone fishing, selling wholesale and retail when I was 16. Literally started riding my bike there when I was 15 to get to work. I started a fly fishing show which aired on Comcast Sportsnet Northwest called Fish Whispering. That was 7 seasons, about 8 years of my life dedicated a lot to marketing the fly fishing business on a regional cable network. That was a big lesson to me in how to get the word out about products and how to compete in a huge marketplace. That was like Portland, Seattle, and Northern California were in that marketplace. And I'm also a competition fly angler. I fish competitively, trying to gain points to get a place on Fly Fishing Team USA, which is like a non-competitive, or it's a non-professional tournament where up to 5 anglers represent our country across the world in fly fishing tournaments. The anglers that do this, that place, are amazing. They're some of the most efficient anglers you'll ever see. See what I did there? Efficient. And this, here's our pro staff. We have, I like puns, I can't help it. These are both members of Fly Fishing Team USA. Pat Weiss is a medal winner both on the team and also in national tournaments, and a fish biologist. And also Devin Olson, who is now a Lander resident and has a business called Tactical Fly Fishing, which is an online fly fishing sales business. He's a good buddy of mine. He and I have been doing a lot of the local tournaments here in the Bighorns lately. And he's also an individual and a team medalist for Fly Fishing Team USA and has worked on product development with some of the bigger businesses in the industry, such as Thomas & Thomas and Diamondback Fly Rods and others. Like, This guy's a mover and shaker in the industry, and he's really leading the way in a lot of design ideas. This is our pro staff, some of the best that we have for countries and recommendations for anything that we need in the country. One of our patented pending features is a sealed drive system. And you can see this right here, that's all gasketed and part of the aluminum body. This does not let in dirt, grime, or anything including water into the gears, which are the drag system and the retrieve system. Every other semi-automatic reel in the world has exposed gears to all the environmental elements, and they'll break down. Ours will not. We also have this adjustable line guide. You can see this lever for the retrieve that sticks out a little bit. All of the other levered, powered reels, the line catches on this. And there's actually sometimes the line comes right up close to that lever, and it's hard to separate your line from that lever, and you get tangled up when you're fishing. On any reel style and any fly rod that you might have in your hand, when you're casting out, the fly line will oftentimes loop and tangle on your equipment, and it gets frustrating. I've worked as a guide, I don't really say this, but since I was 17, but I've watched thousands of anglers fish, and those tangles when you're casting are a problem. This line guide can be slid in or out to match your hand size, and this reduces that to almost nothing. If you straighten out your line a little bit, it just doesn't happen. And I don't know, I think this is the coolest thing in the world, honestly. When you're buying a rod and a reel, everyone talks about balance. You want your rod and your reel to balance perfectly in your hand. So this is a 10-foot, 8-inch fly rod used for Euro nymphing. I'll go over that in a little bit. But you can see just right now, my finger balance is just about in the middle of that grip. But say that you have like a 7-foot, say 2-weight rod, which is a very small trout rod for fishing brookies and the bighorns. All you have to do is push this button, slide it forward, and then it reduces your center of mass, so it changes. So if you have a small fly rod, this perfects the balance. The other thing is, if you have even a heavier rod, like say a big salmon rod that's 11 feet long or 12, you can move that reel back, and it moves your point of balance back to be just wherever you want it. So instead of like having to buy, a lot of people look, what reel pairs best with a rod? And they're like looking for exact models of reels with exact amount of line, and they buy this reel for this rod. This amazing reel fits every fly rod you own, and the ones that you will own in the future. So that's my little sales point there. Let's continue on with amazing things about our reels. All right, so why? All right, so this became popular really more in Europe. Europeans, England, Scotland, Italians, the Swiss, they're the ones really doing the forward development of semi-automatic reels. And this became popular because tournaments are more popular there. In England, it's almost every day of the week there's a fly fishing tournament at some club somewhere. It's not as popular in the States, so we're a little behind on equipment development. We just don't compete as much, so we're not looking at ways to fish better as the Europeans are. So this is what it's used to, the Euro nymphing. But what it can also be used for is everything that we do in the States. You can also do it with flies that float, and the big heavy plastic fly lines that are a bit fatter in diameter. They'll all wind on this and go through the guides and work just fine. Nymphing with indicators, if you've ever been on like the Bighorn River or the Wind River around here, those are very popular places where you're fishing like a bobber, a big plastic bubble called an indicator, because we're real fancy if we're a fly fisherman, and indicators with nymphs or something underneath the water. It'll work for everything, streamer fishing including, which is like little bait fish imitations, woolly buggers. You cast them out and you retrieve them really fast. Catch big fish. All of these elements are perfect with our fly reels. We're going to gift Governor Mark Gordon a fly reel, and we're going to have a little bit of a ceremony about it. Details to be worked out yet. Governor Gordon has let me fish on his property since I was 4 years old. He's always been a really cool guy. He's always been supportive of local businesses, and he is excited about our development of our reel, and we're going to have a little really cool gift-giving ceremony in our shop. Details will be forwarded soon, but just kind of cool how connected we are in Wyoming with small businesses. Our reel cases are being made and designed in Buffalo as well, and we're using wool from Wyoming-grown sheep. We're trying to get as local as we can on all of our products. Also, we're working on sourcing buckskin, and this is really cool, from a Sioux tribal member who is going to be hand brain tanning local animals to make us Sioux-made buckskin out of brain tanning for our future fly reel cases. Again, you can't get much more local than we're making this company. The entire state will benefit from our expanded production. especially because we are not going to compete with the small business owner. We are selling to wholesalers who will then sell retail to the public. So every other fly fishing business in the industry currently competes with all of their vendors by selling direct from their websites. We're going to let the retail place, the small mom and pop shops, do that selling for us. So we're not going to compete against the people that are going to represent us. The Sports Lure, Fly Shop, the Bighorns, all the shops you go into for the local advice, they're going to be able to make a profit and maintain their businesses. Also, there's a 10% sales tax that we're going to pay that will help the Wyoming Game and Fish and all of our local wildlife directly. It's the Pittman-Roberts sales tax, which is a 10% tax on all fishing goods. So by promoting our business and buying our product, 10% of those sales goes right back to the state of Wyoming for funding that's critical to the survival of our wildlife organisms and the environment. I had a hard time with these buttons earlier, I apologize. So these are kind of the 5 styles of fly reels. This one is probably more familiar. Your grandfather probably had this one, the full auto. And really the basic idea for all these reel styles is to pick the line up quicker so that you're not getting tangled so often. And you have to give me a minute. I'm still not that great at the clicker. There we go.
Automatic reel.
Really, really fast. Really. But heavy, fast retrieve. Semi-automatic reel, a little bit lighter, fast retrieve.
Semi-automatic reel.
But again, the line tangles on that lever. And I'm going to go over all these individual, but you'll notice kind of a theme in it's faster line retrieve. The multiplier reel. Every time you turn this handle, the spool, which is this outside part, turns about 2.5 times. And that, again, is just to get a faster retrieve
Multiplier reel.
from that reel. This is the reel probably most people are familiar with, a standard arbor. It just has a small post like this that you line your wind your line on. And the disadvantage is your retrieval rate is just slower and it's a little bumpy. As you go around in that circle, it tends to just kind of bump in your hand. You can see the movement in my hand, and the more movement you have in your hand, the more movement you have in the rod tip, the more fish you lose. Well, other people lose. And this is a large arbor reel. Again, this larger arbor is basically just for a faster line retrieve with a lighter body. Just to show you kind of how our design is similar or different to a lot of the other ones out there. You've seen this popular in Euro nymphing, but the problems are, as I mentioned, some of them, the line tangling on the lever and the reel butt and the rod and reel intersection. There's no way to rotate the spool by hand. You saw that other semi-automatic, no knobs on the side, so you have to pull the line in and then lift it with your fingers to get that line in. It's a 2-part thing, and a lot of people aren't very good at it. So there's other issues with the exposed gear train. Again, every other reel is exposed to the dirt and wear and the environment. And there's little ability to adjust the counterbalance. Nobody else has made a modular sliding reel foot that allows you to adjust the balance of your gear. This is our reel in action. There's a line foot, you can move that in and out. There's the sliding reel foot. You can see I have it moved all the way back. This is a 10-foot rod, so I like them to sit back a ways anyways. I love that counterbalance. Very fast retrieve, boom, fish is on, right to the knobs, and you pull in your 25-inch brown trout like you catch every day of the week. I'm glad somebody caught that. It's funny because that hardly ever happens. All right, our customers are fly anglers primarily. These are just some of the stats. They're primarily 70% male, but they do make about a middle income, about $50,000 a year. Fly anglers can afford our reel because it is a little bit higher end, custom-made reel. 67% of the 7.5 million fly anglers in the U.S., or about just over 5 million fly anglers in the U.S. alone, and we're shooting for the world here, are potential customers for our reels. These are the people that can afford us. 7.5 million of fly anglers making about $50,000 or more a year. If we sell to even less than 1% of those 5 million people, we'll be a multi-million-dollar company with tax dollars going to all of our wildlife. And the market grew from 2018 to 2019 by about 100,000. Since then, the market's been growing even a little bit more than that. So at least another 100,000 potential customers for our fly reels every year. All right, so our wholesale price point going to the dealers with a minimum order of 3 reels is $675. Our retail price point is $999. Seems expensive, but I'll show you in a minute how you can afford that. No problem. Call a credit card. All right, so this price point though, 2 credit cards maybe. But it's, so Poe of Switzerland, this is the Swiss reel maker. Their semi-automatic reel is called the Fulgor. That's a guess on how to pronounce that. And it goes for about $858, but then to get it, you have to pay another $50 international shipping, and you have to hope that it's in stock. Devin Olson of the Tactical Fly Fisher had to wait 6 months to get reels when he ordered them as a retailer. He was very frustrated with that. Other high quality companies though that make just standard fly reels, disc drags, the standard arbor stuff, like the Lamson Force, it's a large arbor, but it's just a regular old reel, $600. The Able SDF is just another fly reel, but it's painted really pretty. It's $1,550. And it's just a fly reel. Doesn't do anything cool like ours. So this is how you do it. Financing, Devin Olson Tactical Fly Fisher, it'll also beat your local shops, and some of them will supply this on their sites as well. But Sezzle, PayPal, Affirm, that's like the pay in 4 or pay in 6 month kind of payment systems. Don't tell my wife, but that's how I've afforded my 100 fly rods that I own. You just pay a lot, and that's how you do it. No problem at all. My wife is here.
So let's talk a little bit about startup capital. We're looking for about $50,000 to wrap up the development of the semi-automatic reel, where it's going to be about 2 months to complete, and we're looking to spend probably $40,000 on the manufacturing and overhead to make that happen. So the leftover $10,000 we're using for marketing and the product rollout here in early 2023. Just a quick little forecast here, 2023, 200 plus reels should get us around $135,000 of revenue in the first year. 2024 is going to be a really big jump where we'll have a couple more products and accessories available, somewhere in the area of $675,000. 2025 and beyond, I think with the growth and the innovation and the product development that we do, we'll be able to easily hit numbers in the millions. So we're pretty excited about that. This just goes into a little more detail about our forecast. 2022 has been largely devoted to product development and prototyping. We don't have a reel at this point in 2022 available to the public, so you won't see any revenue. 2023 will be the release of our flagship model. We'll also be doing more development on another reel model, which won't be a semi-automatic, but a little lower cost, as well as some accessories. So during that time, the development may kind of cancel out any net profit we'd see in 23. But 2024 should be the big year for us, where we'll have some fully released products available, as well as accessories, and a little bit more traction in the industry as we grow our brand. So we're looking to be profitable at the end of 2024, and at that point, we'll have the opportunity to provide a couple jobs as we grow, as well as reinvest into our capabilities. And I'll let Rodney give you a little info on the manufacturing.
Okay,
Thank you. So how are 3 guys that live in a small town in Wyoming going to pull this off? OCR's business partner, BTI, is a full-service engineering and manufacturing firm with capabilities to take an idea from inception all the way to store shelves. We will manufacture parts from aircraft-grade aluminum of U.S. origin, and we will deliver OCR parts that are finished and ready for assembly. Our reel cases will feature a wool and leather case that is completely sourced from here in Wyoming. And once we perfect our semi-automatic reel, we're going to start developing other innovative ideas in the outdoor space. And Zach will take you through those.
So reel cases, spare spools, we're gonna have a camera mount, various line guides, unique levers, custom colors, and new models. It's gonna be a modular reel system. You'll have your ability to pick and choose from the features that you want. Thank you very much for your time, everybody. Really appreciate it. A little bit of Zen with myself. And Hefe, my German short-haired pointer, putting the reel to work when I can figure out the buttons.
Great presentation, guys. Can you just tell a little bit more about the launch plan and what's going to take for you to get there? You don't have any reels made currently, so how long, or that one does?
Yeah, so we're finalized, getting really close to having a final product. There's a few little more polishing things that need to happen, but we do have functional prototypes that Zach has been testing. So over the next couple months, we should be able to have a fully polished design.
And it's
ready
just
for the-
finalizing our prototyping stage and getting this thing to hum like a Singer machine.
Yeah, so the gearing, everything that's makes it a semi-automatic reel is complete at this point.
Okay, so once it's complete, how are you getting it into the stores? Do you already have pre-orders or people that will make pre-orders at some point?
I currently have 3 retail shops that have already ordered them. I have a bunch of individuals looking to get them. We'll attend industry shows and do a lot of the selling. Devin Olson has a viewership of over tens of thousands of people. He's going to be blogging about it on his website, and he'll be taking a lot of our initial orders. He's already given us a verbal order for 5 reels once we get done.
And he's part of our pro staff.
So I love that you're thinking about using local materials, collaborating with other individuals here locally in Wyoming. But my question is, you mentioned this Swiss company, Fulgor. They have trouble keeping stock, right? So how do you envision that you'll ramp up production and continue to meet that demand so you don't have that 6-month wait time as you're doing all these really cool, unique, customized things?
So I think one way we'll do that is OCR's business partner, BTI. We have about 5 years experience of meeting customer deadlines that are anywhere from fly reels to bolts to aerospace products. And we've been very successful with meeting deadlines. So
Again, we're estimating right now that we can probably, with the equipment we have, process up to about 100 reels a month, which we could scale with some techniques in the machining, as well as future capital equipment.
I'm going to dovetail off Chelsea's question. Thanks, gentlemen. Part of your pitch we heard a couple times was sourcing local Wyoming wool and the buckskin reels. So if your projection is to grow at such a rate where you would be producing over 1,200 reels at 100 a month, how do you foresee keeping up, or 12,000? How do you see keeping up with that production? And have you talked to these people that are currently working with you, or is that going to have to be outsourced?
Yeah, I was telling them they're going to have to hire today. I've already talked with the Wyoming Wool Mill and to see what numbers they can do, and they're in line with our estimated production numbers for the reel case materials. The buckskin guy is going to just have to produce more. I've offered him a place to work out of so that he can increase his production as well. But actually, the way he does it, he's set, and I have a spot for him to work in our workshop.
Thanks.
You mentioned that your budget was $40,000, actually 50, but 40,000 that was allocated. Can you break down that cost a little bit more on how much of it's materials, how much of it's operating expenses in other areas?
Yeah, so as far as Blacktooth doing the manufacturing, we're at about a burn rate of around $1,000 a day to keep the lights on, machines running. So if we go full-time on manufacturing and development, this product, we're going to be largely in the manufacturing side. Material is not as expensive at larger volumes, so there's not going to be a ton of expense in the material itself, just mainly time and for the manufacturing and BTI.
And as far as labor goes for assembly and things like that, we're estimating about 10 to 12 minutes of labor is it per reel, so that won't be a large cost.
The design is so efficient and perfect.
Great, thanks, and great job, guys.
Excellent job, you guys. I'm a Johnson County boy, by the way, originally, so it's great to see you up there. You mentioned material costs, in bulk not being an issue, but what about availability? You know, there's such a challenge with procuring materials right now. If I understand, it's largely all aluminum based, so any challenges related to procurement? Have you started those conversations with a source in particular for building that relationship to get what you need in a timely way?
We saw some difficulties during COVID, mainly late 2020, early 21, we could buy it, we just couldn't get it shipped. And that's been getting quite a bit better. Our lead times during that time for material were 2 to 3 weeks. And before that, we were sometimes 1 day. A long lead time for material was about 5 days. We're very close back to that pre-COVID lead time. The material we recently ordered, I think it was 4 days. So I don't foresee that being an issue. And luckily, the United States manufactures a lot of aluminum, so we've got a lot of options.
Yeah, and we currently, we deal with fairly high volumes in aluminum and have not had issues at this point. And also being able to do the same thing and stock up on material that we'll be able to stockpile a little bit and be prepared for that. Where currently as a job shop, everything's different, so we're always ordering material, haven't had any issues.
I got a handful of aluminum cans if you get short. Could you speak briefly to the intellectual property that you hold, whether it's a design patent? I think you spoke about it in the semifinal round, but could you clarify that as well?
Yeah, it's patent pending.
Yeah, we have, what is it, 5 or 6 claims, patent pending right now. It has been filed. We have about a year to get the rest of the application complete and get a real patent filed. But currently we have the 3 things that Zach had talked about, as well as, escape me right now, but yeah, it has been filed with the channels.
We own it. We own the idea. We own everything about it, which was a big deal. Any other questions from the audience or judges? Anybody want a t-shirt? Who loves OCR fly reels?
Come on.
This is the best part of the whole show. There's the hands up right there. Oh, there we go over there. All right, way in the back. Oops. I'm not a baseball player anymore.
Whatever.
And I got one more. Who loves OCR fly reels? Thanks for your support, guys. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Great job, OCR. They did not practice that during the dress rehearsal yesterday. So. Okay, we're going to give them a second to get off stage. Okay, our second Sheridan Startup Challenge finalists will be I Call Shotgun, Elena Gross, and Isabella Haas.
Hi, I'm Isabella Haas, and I'm a sophomore at Buffalo High School.
And I'm Elena Gross, and I'm a senior at Buffalo High School.
We're both active in our Buffalo chapter of FBLA, and we both participate in our business classes, as well as being involved in other extracurricular activities like sports and clubs. So I stay pretty busy, but I have to say, I do catch myself saying, oh, there's nothing to do in this town all the time in Buffalo. And I'm sure you guys have heard it too.
So we are here to present to you our business, I Call Shotgun, which is a game for kids to play on a night.
So we're selling an experience and full of good memories and good times.
It is a safe experience for all teenagers to have fun and enjoy.
We really want to create and market a clean, safe, and legal game for high school kids to enjoy. So 42% of TikTok users are between the ages 16 and 24 years old, which you'll come to find is our exact target market. Go ahead.
Here is a visual example of our game that we made in TikTok that would kind of represent our ads on TikTok.
Yeah, they're invincible, and she's just in the background. And she says, I wish that I could be like the cool kids, 'cause all the cool kids, they seem to fit in. I wish that I could be like the cool kids, like the cool kids. He sees them talking with a big smile, but they haven't got a clue. Yeah, they're living a good life, can see what he is going through. They're driving fast cars, but they don't know where they're going.
So TikTok is going to be great for us to use, and that's kind of where we want to focus our marketing on, and we'll get more into depth in that later. So included in our card deck is 5 different games, and these are the games right here. And also included are plot twists, I Bet You Won't cards, and a team selector.
Our 5 games are Hostages, Capture the Flag, Cops and Robbers, Hide and Go Seek, and Assassins. A misconception about our game is the drivers are going to be distracted, but the drivers are always driving, hence there's teams so the passengers can also do some work. But most of our games are just driving to A to B. So that's like not distracted driving. And so to describe a game real quick, we're going to do a hostage. And basically a hostage is you're going to start at a meeting point that everybody knows, and once everybody gets there, you're going to break into as many teams as you want using our team selector card. And then after that, you'll define the boundaries within like town limits or whatever you guys decide. And then you trade 2 people to each team. And those 2 people that you trade are called hostages. And everybody else are the captors. And then everybody draws plot twist cards as well, so that will add a little bit of spice to the game, so not every game you play is going to be the same thing every time. And then after that, the captors will take their hostages and go hide them somewhere within the boundaries. And then after that, they'll drive back and start at the meeting point. And then the passenger on the same team will call your people that were the hostages, and using only yes or no answers, you try to find out where they are located at. And the first people back with their hostages using all safe, like speed limit, wearing your seatbelts, are the winners of the game. And then the losers will have to draw a I Bet You Won't card.
Right, and so going back to the plot twist cards, these are drawn at the beginning of the game, and they're things that add variety to every round that you play.
Here's an example of one from these girls that played the game, and theirs was, you have to have a pet to complete your task at hand. And so they grabbed their dog Finn, and then another girl grabbed her dog Spike, and it just made the game a little more exciting to have your friend out.
And so the I Bet You Won't cards are essentially just a dare card, because in every game there's always a winner and a loser, and the losers have to do a punishment. So this is the punishment, and you can draw a different card every time.
So this punishment was you have to go through a local drive-through restaurant, order an ice cream cone, and grab it by the ice cream, not the cone. So this is a video of it. And then they can get out and get that ice cream off their hand before they get driving on the main road again.
No slippery, like, you're 10 and 4, right, on the steering wheel?
Okay, so our value proposition is, first problem we're trying to solve, small town boredom. This is just giving us games to do anywhere, anytime, with as many friends as you want.
And another problem we're trying to tackle is restless young adults. They'll find a new game, they'll play it once or twice, and then they get bored of it. So we're offering new, fun, and innovative games for restless young adults. And a huge problem that we want to address is unsafe Saturday nights. It's a huge problem, especially in rural areas like Wyoming, so we're offering a safe and structured solution.
And since we kind of came up with these games, seniors have taught us these games as we're going out through high school, but as I've done them, I realized one of the problems is no one likes to listen to other people tell them what to do. And so we decided that the way to get rid of that problem is just make a rule card and like have the rules stated out, and that way there's not as many disagreements.
Right, and so a little bit about the market history. We all know and love the game Uno. And so in 1971, the history of the game is in 1971, Merle Robbins and his family created the game Uno. And they basically created it by improving an already existing game, Crazy Eights, which is exactly what we're doing. We're improving games that are already existing and that have already been played. So they had been playing this game for years, but then they decided to produce it and share it with the world. And by doing that, they eliminated conflict. Like Elena said, the rule disagreements. They eliminated that conflict by producing the game. And so in that first year, they spent $8,000 to make 5,000 copies. And then in just 1 year, they turned around and sold their company for $50,000 plus 10 cents in royalties per game sale. And that's where we want to be, because now Uno is known and loved around the world. It's a super fun game in families and friends, and that's where we see ourselves being.
Okay, we want to start off with 20% of our sales going into labor costs.
And we're going to start with 2 part-time employees ourselves at $15 an hour.
And we want to look to add 2 to 4 employees each year.
And those employees will be doing things like manufacturing, shipping, packaging, and sales. And we do want to really focus on job creation to, help the local community and offer new jobs for things like that. So our target market, like I said earlier, is 16 to 24-year-olds who live in rural America and have a driver's license. 64,291 enrolled. There are 64,291 enrolled high school students in just Wyoming. So that leaves us with a large statewide market, not even considering region-wide. We live in a pretty rural region, so like North Dakota, South Dakota, Colorado, all the states bordering us are also rural areas, so that leaves us with a large market, and then nationwide as well. And another thing to think about is it's always someone's birthday. Someone's always turning 16 and getting their driver's license, so it's a constant market that will never decline.
Next, 13.4 million teenagers under 18 grow up in rural areas. And Americans are always moving to rural areas in ever-increasing numbers. Big city families are moving into rural areas and small towns just for a safer, easier way to take care of their family. And so it's very applicable. And for driver's license, 71% of high school seniors have a driver's license in urban, largely populated areas. And as a BHS senior, I know about 100% of my grade has a driver's license. So I think it's pretty reachable.
Yeah, and that percentage will rise as you go in rural areas where we're targeting. The card and board games market has witnessed growth from $350 million to $500 million just in the last 5 years. It's from 2017 to 2022. So there is room for growth in our market. And so to elaborate on the market growth trends, you'll see in this graph that from 2021 to 2028, the revenue in card and board game sales is projected to reach $33.7 billion. So the market is growing, especially since COVID and everyone was home for a while. People are finding card games and board games that they want to play and do something new and different.
One of the most popular trends in global board games market right now is cooperative games. These are games where players work together to achieve a common goal. They're often more complex than competitive games and take longer to play. This makes them ideal for families who want to bond over a game together. And as you've seen, our game is a very cooperative game, and it's willing to have teenagers work together. We want to sell our game at $19.99.
And so if you think about like in-store sales and shelf sales, everyone seems to have a $20 bill on them, always. And so it's just easy and accessible for that reason. And it's also affordable for high school students. So like considering that kids drop $60 on lunch a week, they can afford to spend $20 on a game. Most every high school student can.
Also, it's still profitable for us. And we looked at other board/card games, and it's still cheaper while still being valuable.
Right, and we found it's going to cost us a little under $5 actually, so that leaves us with a large gross profit of about $15 with this sale. So a huge problem we're trying to tackle is offering a safer alternative activity for high school students, because alcohol abuse is a huge problem in Wyoming. The average age of drinking initiation in just Wyoming is 16.4 years. So notice that's right when kids get their driver's license, and that's right when kids start drinking. So we are offering a safer alternative for that.
Wyoming has the highest rate of teen motor fatalities and one of the lowest rates of reported seatbelt usage in the U.S. And so we want to help push seatbelts and just make it natural for kids just to end up putting their seatbelts on. One, because if you don't wear your seatbelt in our game, you're going to end up getting disqualified if someone finds out. And also, it's on our label packaging. It's on our card games. It's gonna be no more teammates the number of seatbelts in your car. So we're really just trying to push that and make sure kids get used to putting their seatbelts on.
Right, and they should be worried about not getting disqualified, not dying in a car wreck. That's the goal here.
Yeah.
Just and so we really do just want to improve the safety for our friends and our classmates overall. So some key milestones and goals in the next 3 to 6 months is obviously to launch our product, which we're really excited to do. And we also are looking to distribute a couple different ways. We want to use a sales rep in kind of a door-to-door way, selling to local stores and toy stores and convenience stores and things like that. We are also working with Dakota's Best, who is a distributor company out of North Dakota who distributes wholesale for local companies, such as Dots Pretzels. So we're working with them. And like I said, online and shelf sales as well.
Also, so for marketing, social media, TikTok, 42% of 16 through 24-year-olds use TikTok. So they'll be scrolling through TikTok, they see this video of these girls and guys playing a really fun game and they think it looks fun. So just click on it, easy peasy, go buy it. Super easy and fast. Then we want to go through e-commerce, and that's just like Shopify. And then we also, again, grocery stores, convenience stores, things like that.
And so for outsourcing, we want to keep it all local, working with local printer companies, local suppliers, and things like that. We really do want to focus on helping the community out in that factor. And we're also working on filling out a trademark application and just getting that really rolling.
And our liability kinks, we did talk to a lawyer about it, and he said that, as long as our game isn't clearly stating, hey, jump out your car right now or cause a traffic accident. So if a kid does something really stupid like that, we're not liable for that because we're clearly stating the safety issues in it and we're making it as safe as possible. So in our 2-year offering, we're thinking about creating an app. It's just an overall easier way to display it, but it's out of our reach right now. But one of the things we would like to have on the app is make it specific to your location. And then we also wanted to make it easy sharing pics of what you did for your plot twist card or your dare twist card, dare I bet you won't card. And then we also like how Live 360 can track your speed limit. We want to do that, so if they're speeding, disqualified. You can't win if you're speeding. So it just makes it safer that way. And then also more games to put on there and more dares and more plot twists for you.
Right, and we really want to work on coming out with new content for our customers, like new additions like seasonal games, Christmas, Halloween, things like that. Also offering a new yearly edition every year with new games, so you don't really ever get bored of the games that we do have. Things like adult versions or versions for younger kids, things like that. And we just really want to focus on getting new content out for our customers.
And then for customer interaction, we got this idea from an advisor, and she said that we should have a competition that kids send in games that they play or they thought of, and the winning game gets to be put in our new edition. So our annual taxable sales, this is just a conservative projection. So in 2022, we're going to have 20,000, 2023, 30,000, and then doubling that in 2024 with 60,000, ending us with 110,000.
Right. So in the first year, we were looking to sell about 1,000 copies at 20,000. That's where that number comes from.
Capital investment, 2022, 18,000. 2023, 27,000, and then in 2024, 54,000, leaving us with 100,000.
And so our top 2 spending needs are production materials and marketing. So for production materials, in the first year, we're planning on spending around $10,000. And then in the first 3 years, we're planning on spending around $51,000. And then for marketing, we really want to focus on marketing a lot through social media and TikTok. We want to spend around $6,000 in the first year and $35,000 in the first 3 years. So here is kind of, you'll notice this graph that as the 3 years go on, we're getting higher and higher revenues as we kind of take those years to catch on and get popular and just really grow our sales. But you'll notice that our cost of goods is very constant. So as our sales grow, our cost of goods stay the same, making our profit continue to grow larger each year.
So why you should invest us is we have a high gross profit margin.
We have a niche, and it's a really unique product. There's not really any other games on the market that are just for kids to do while, driving around or to do, like, just by themselves. It's all, like, sit down at home board games.
It's also scalable, so it's always at a continuous growth.
Right, and it's a large market, like I said, just statewide and then region-wide and then nationwide. There is a huge market for kids, and it's ever-growing and constant. So thank you so much for your time and attention tonight.
We really want to thank you, and that means a lot to us to be able to share our passion with you, and we're really excited to see how it turns out.
Yeah, and so with your seed funding, like with help from you guys and your advice from the advisors, we would like, and the seed funding, we hope to, someday be the next Uno and be the next big board game. Thank you.
Yeah, first of all, you should be really proud of yourselves. You guys did a great job tonight. Very creative idea. Really great job on the analysis, and I really appreciate the emphasis on safety and just getting up in front of a group like this at your age and speaking and presenting that way. You did a really great job, and you should be proud of yourselves.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you.
I did just want to ask, have you considered or explored the idea at all of any companies that might be able to produce those cards for you and what that might cost?
We did look into some outsourcing, like through not local companies at all, and it was pretty cheap, but we haven't looked into like more local companies and keeping it local.
Okay. My only other suggestion is you might consider paying yourselves more with today's inflation. You might get hired away from your own business.
Okay.
I don't have any questions other than to say, originally I wrote down some questions related to app development, and I'm glad to see that you included that in your presentation. I do think there's a lot of great opportunity for scalability of the game and what you're going to offer when you do go digital and you go app-based. I just think that's a great opportunity for you guys, so I'm glad to see that you're looking at it. I concur. You did a great job presenting, so good job, ladies.
Thank you.
Hi, ladies. This is my first time to hear your pitch because I missed it. So congratulations. Great job.
Thank you.
I am a mother of two teenagers still at home, and they are driving age. So, of course, I've got lots of questions.
Oh, yeah.
My first question, though, the most tangible question, I guess, is from a business aspect. I hear you say that the first year you want to sell 1,000 games. So have you talked, I know we talked a little bit about production, but are you selling them just in a card package, or is this, I saw your little spinning wheel. What does your package look like?
Right, so it's a tin, and it's about this big around, and it has about 60 cards in each deck, and it has all the packaging on it and things.
Okay. And then for 1,000 games to be distributed, are you in your cars playing your game while you're driving and distributing them, or who will be doing that for you?
That's going to be us for now until we can, hire someone in to help us with that.
So have you considered shipping, postage as you grow?
Right, and that'll come out of our gross profit.
Okay. Thank you. Great job, ladies.
Thank
I like
you.
the idea.
Nice job. You've come a long way from even just the preliminary pitch. I love all the details that you've added. It really helps us to understand where the money would go. I am wondering about the timeline to bring this to market. When are you hoping to have that first unit? Because we saw the prototype and you said, oh, we got some work to do. So when do you think you'll have that final product?
So I think pretty soon. We have all the ideas of the cards laid out. We have pretty much all the cards laid out, just like a cut, like 20, maybe not. And then we have tons of kids in our school who are already looking to buy this, so I feel like it'd be pretty easy.
Great. And have you been getting some views on your TikToks already?
We haven't actually posted it yet.
Okay.
So are you dropping out of school next year then?
Yep.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's my last year. I can't.
Our business teacher says once someone gets on Shark Tank, she'll retire, so maybe that'll be it.
Well, great job.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thanks. Do you want to leave that there?
Leave that down.
Thank you, Isabella and Elena. So I would like to acknowledge Cammie Kennedy, the Buffalo High School business teacher. She has just done a phenomenal job with these students. And can we also acknowledge the students that came out to support Isabella and Elena? So they came on the bus from Buffalo. Many entrepreneurs themselves. So I think the future is very bright for entrepreneurship in northern Wyoming. Okay, so next up we have our third pitch. It will be a pitch, the business is called Horsewell, and the entrepreneur is Megan Wells. Welcome.
Hello, my name is Megan Wells, and I am the creator and owner of the Horsewell Massager. So this is me and my family. This is my husband Ian, our daughter Demi, and our little boy Wynn, and we live on our family ranch just outside of Buffalo where we raise Black Angus cattle. And my husband and I are also avid horse lovers, and we both train performance horses. This is my husband. He trains world-class rope horses. And then I enjoy training futurity barrel horses. And I also work as a registered nurse at Sheridan Memorial Hospital. And this is where this product kind of came to life. I was watching patients get myofascial release therapy. And the following weekend, I was driving to a barrel race and I was thinking to myself, gosh, well, one man in particular, he had so much pain relief from myofascial release. And he also was standing a little straighter, had better range of motion, and I was driving along thinking, why don't I have this for my horse? So from there, I went to work on creating this product. And at Horsewell, we empower horse owners to keep horses feeling their very best by incorporating this time-tested technology. So what's the problem? There is a lack of options for equine massage at this point in time. This blade is going to be cutting edge technology for the equine industry. There is not a myofascial release blade for horses out there at this time, so this will be the first one. Horse sports are very competitive. You used to be able to show up with a good horse and have a really great chance at winning a check. Now you need to show up with a great horse, and they better be feeling their best for you to even have a chance at the winner's circle. The cost of equine massage, it can be very spendy. $50 to $75 will get you one massage session with a equine massage therapist. And soreness overall affects their mobility and performance, whether that be short-term pain or long-term pain that they have had that adjusts their body, the way they hold their body. So the solution is the Horsewell Massager. We want to utilize this blade across barns in the United States. We'll have education online, so it'll be just a click away for people to be able to watch demonstration videos of how to use this product effectively for their horse at home. And it's going to be saving horse owners money with just this one simple tool. With this one-time purchase of this blade, which is the cost of one massage session, horse owners will be able to use their blade for an unlimited of times at home, multiple times during the week, and giving their equine partner normal massage routines that they need. This is a quote from Dr. Paul Wallament. He is a doctor of veterinary medicine. He says, "I think this is a long time coming and should have been out a long time ago. You can tell a horse owner has made this, and it's tremendously user-friendly." This is a little slide about the equine anatomy. So this is their superficial muscles. They have a long line of fascia from the pole all the way to their tail head. And you could see that there's this large group of fascia right where the saddle sits, and especially in this region of their hip. They have a lot of issues of getting sore. Fascia can hold thousands of pounds of pressure. So unless this tension is released with massage or by a professional massage therapist, they will hold that tension and it'll really affect their performance. And then this is a photo of their deep muscles, which just goes to show animals, horses in particular, are very strong, powerful animals, and they need regular massage. So a little bit about the Horsewell Massager. It's the first myofascial blade developed specifically for horses. It's an effective, simple, cost-effective massage tool for people to use at home. And it's designed with the science and equine anatomy specifically for the horse. We did have a trial period where we had 11 trainers in all different kinds of equine disciplines use this blade, and everybody had was 100% satisfied with it. They give us great quotes on their horse, loved the massage. They noticed differences in their horses, the way they moved, and we are really happy with all the feedback that we got from people using it so far. This is a quote from Teal Stoll. She's a barrel horse trainer, and she said, "I've never seen anything like it, and most modalities are either expensive or require a lot of training, and this was easy and effective." So the Horsewell massager, it is going to be manufactured in the United States. It will be made with a fiberglass infused nylon or injection molding. It will be durable in freezing temperatures. When it's below 0, you can drop it on the concrete. It's not going to shatter. And you can leave it in the dash of your truck when it's 100+ degrees and it won't warp. And this product is also patent pending, and that will also be embossed on the product itself. So this is a quote from Lynn Core. She's a very tremendous barrel futurity trainer, and she's also a WPRA gold card holder. She said, "Every time I use Megan's massager on my horses, which is before and after I ride, they lean into it and relax and let me work their fascia loose." This is a little video to demonstrate how it's used every day. Hi, I'm Megan Wells, and I'm the creator of the Horsewell massager. This product is a homeopathic, eco-friendly, natural way for you to make your horse feel better. Myofascial release technology has been used for thousands of years in humans. It's been proven to decrease pain and increase range of motion. This is new cutting-edge technology in the equine industry, and you need one for your own barn. It's so important to work your horse's fascia, and this blade is so unique because this edge pulls the fascia perfect. As you're massaging, you want to use moderate to light pressure and really watch your horse's reaction. Use the narrow edge of the blade for deep muscle. For the broad muscle groups on the horse's hip, using the top of the blade is a great choice. For the hamstrings, you can use the bottom of the blade where their muscles fit nicely in the curve. While massaging your horse's back and abdomen, you can use the broad edge of your blade as their back has a wide strip of fascia. Whether you're trail riding, barrel racing, cutting, any kind of athletic performance, they will perform better and recover faster, and it creates a really great bond between horse and rider for any activity that you're doing. Massage your horse in the comfort of your own barn. Thanks for watching. So we have a goal to help performance and active horses across the United States. We believe horse owners need an effective massage tool specifically made for the horse. And the simple and easy to use design has so many benefits. You can remove lactic acid, decrease pain, increase their range of motion, remove lactic acid and toxins from their body as you massage. And like the video said, it does improve the relationship between the horse and rider and increases your horse's disposition in general. This is Charlie Carroll. He is a world champion AQHA show jumper. And he said, "Everyone likes the blade a lot. I just love it and really suggest it." He had a lot of people in his barn using it on horses, and he found a lot of relief through his whole herd using this product. For the equine market, there's 7.2 million horses in the United States. It's a $122 billion industry annually. There's 92.6% of horse owners are female, and there's 1.6 million households with horses. And horse activities happen throughout the calendar year. All of these photos are photos that we gotten taken, and this is us on our family ranch gathering our herd. So the market that we're going to be reaching, we have about 3/4 of this pie chart that we will be targeting. 43% of horses out there are recreational horses, 17% are show horses, and 17% are racing horses. So we have a large group that we can target with this product. For our financials, we did get a market research study done through the University of Wyoming to get these numbers. And for the numbers that we're projecting, it was to sell to 5% of performance horses in the United States. So these are very real goals that we can reach. In 2022, we have an investment of $42,000. In 2023, we'll have a net profit of $852,000. And then jumping up to 2024, we'll have a little over $2 million in net profits. As you look at the bottom of the screen, the numbers for 2023 are 30,000 blades sold. That is a mixture between wholesale and retail. And then in 2024, we jump up to just below 40,000. And then as you see the other revenue, which I'll get to a little later, but that's 1.2 million. So our competition, I'll kind of go through what is out there right now for equine massage. First is the dressage massage roller. It's retailed for $30 and it's more of a kneading massage. You rub it along your horse. Then you jump up to the equine massage gun. It's a percussive gun that retails for $132. The EquiSport rub massager retails for $210. It's a massager that you kind of just run along your horse's back. That is a percussive type massage as well. And then the very end one is the rock blades. They're made out of stainless steel, and those are advertised for people, but there are several massage therapists in the United States that use these blades on horses, and those retail for $400. So the Horsewell blade does fit really nice on this graph down here in the more affordable range. Oops, I missed my quote. Okay, Millie Woody, who is a certified equine body worker, she said, I let a client who had several other blades, which would be the human ones, try it out with her horse after our session, and she said she prefers your prototype to the blade she currently owns. So the rock blades, they're convenient because they are a myofascial blade, but they're very expensive. So then you come down to the EquiSport massager. They're very expensive and they're inconvenient. They have a power cord, and plugging a power cord into an outlet in a barn around a horse is just not going to happen. The equine massage gun, that requires batteries, which is inconvenient. It is more affordable, but you also are going to purchase this blade. You have to have the correct head on it for your horse, and you have to have a horse who will be able to let you use a percussive gun on them. You could spend $132 and they're going to be like, not for me. So then the Horsewell massager, it's convenient, it's affordable, you do it at home. There's no sound, there's no electronics, it's just you and your horse getting a great massage. Our short-term plan, November of 2022, we are completing our CAD file, which actually got done today. We'll send that to manufacturing so they can create our mold for injection molding. We're completing our packaging design. We're very close to having that finished. Our website creation is almost done, and we will start testing the website, and then we'll be able to order our first 5,000 units, I think, in the next week or two. Moving on to December, we'll send these units to our packaging company that they'll put it all together. We'll order all of our shipping supplies. We'll launch our website, and then we're going to identify and approach more influencers in different disciplines. And then in January of 2023, we'll have our big product launch and start to sell to the public. For long-term goals, in June, we trialed. We're now at the Startup Challenge. We'll do our product launch in January of 2023. In April of 2023, we expect our sales to increase due to spring arriving, people getting their horses back out, wanting to go do fun things. In June of 2023, events will increase throughout the summer. And then October of 2023, we plan on being a vendor at the Pink Buckle Barrel Race, which is one of the biggest barrel races in the United States at the moment. And then December of 2023, we will go to Cowboy Christmas, which is a vendor center that they do during the NFR in Las Vegas. And they get a little over 170,000 people walk through that convention. So we should get a lot of foot traffic there. And then in January of 2024, we would like to go to WESA, which stands for Western English Sales Association. It's where manufacturers and retailers all come together, and we're hoping that we can secure some really great retail sales there. Our funding, my husband and I have a personal cash investment, and then we also have secured a commercial loan through First Northern Bank, and we're hoping that the Startup Challenge will be able to help us on our journey as well. Some of our needs that we have is marketing, product inventory, trade show booth setup, packaging, and website development. So what will we do for Wyoming? As this business grows, we hope we'll need 2 to 4 employees to hire full-time. We have plans to host a barrel futurity, hopefully in Gillette, Wyoming, where that'll bring 200 to 500 competitors into our state to compete at the Horsewell Classic. Hopefully, we can be able to contract fulfillment in Wyoming and also contract manufacturing for injection molding in Wyoming. This is Maggie Polonczyk. She trialed the blade as well. She is a professional barrel racer. She said, my horse gets abnormally muscle sore, and the blade has been so nice to have because it can get places that I can't with my hands. Think of how many horses that this is going to help. For the future, we plan on making 2 to 3 more myofascial release products. We will have the Horsewell Classic Futurity annually in Wyoming. We are going to create an app or a web subscription-based product where horse owners can come to get more massage education, what muscles moves what part of the body, stretching routines, veterinarian written articles, and different education for the horse owner at home. And then we're also going to be selling some Horsewell swag. This is Shawnee Williams. She's a professional barrel racer and certified equine body worker, and she said, I love this blade and have incorporated it into my pre-run routine. It is easy to use, fits my horse's conformation well, and is super effective. And to add on to what she said, she has been competing in the Mountain State Circuit for professional rodeo this summer, and she used this blade as her main therapy for her horse. And she said he competed better this summer than he ever has, which really speaks to this product. And then these are a couple other trainers that used our blade. This is Caleb Smith. He is a legend. He is a 3-time world champion tie-down roper, and he's also qualified for the NFR 8 times. He said, keeping my horse feeling his best is incredibly important for us to win, and the Horsewell massager is a key component to success. Over here is Cassie Mitchell. She is a cutting horse rider and trainer, and she said, I love the Horsewell massager for everyday use in our barn. I appreciate how lightweight and easy it is to use. It fits my hands perfectly in any of the edges I'm using, and the shape of the blade conforms to any area of the horse. I love seeing the horses relax as the blade helps release tension buildup. I would recommend the Horsewell massager to any horse owner. So thank you for listening to my presentation. Horsewell is where horse wellness starts here. This is my cell phone number if you'd like to contact me in the future. We'll have horsewell.net up in the next month if you'd like to visit, and I also have my email up there, and you can race the website to get your blade very soon.
Megan, that was great. And I think just from the previous presentation you gave to where you are now, that was very much improved.
Thank you.
And, yeah, wonderful. I don't have too many questions. One, if you can just tell us a little bit more about the launch plan. I'm big on launch plans, and just tell us kind of how you're thinking of getting the first 100 sales up until the first 5,000 sales. And before that, I think my boys are going to bed. So I just want to say a quick sign off to my 3 sons, Daniel, Tristan, and Jonas. So, all right, thank you. But yes, please tell me more about the launch plan.
Yeah. So to launch, we're going to start as a direct sales, and then we're going to target some retail stores to sell the product in the future as I get more advertising material together to be able to give them a great presentation. We plan on going to stores like NRS. There's a taqueria in Florida, which has a huge dressage market. So we do plan on reaching some retail sellers and then being able to get on some podcasts and really get the word out there and word of mouth between our friends that have used it and other professional riders.
Nice job. The demo video turned out great. I love it. That's whoever did that, they did a great job. Very professional.
It was Bighorn Films.
Awesome.
He's very wonderful if you ever need any filming.
They did a great job. I don't really have too many questions either. I think just a comment. I think adding more of the videos, like you mentioned, would be so great because I might be afraid that I would do it wrong and I would make the problem worse. So I think just more education as you launch the product will be a great addition.
Absolutely. And this product, you're not going to hurt your horse using it. It's very safe for anybody to use at home, and it's only going to give you benefits.
Awesome. Thank you.
Especially if you give your horse a treat at the end.
Yeah, that always helps.
Hi, Megan. So yes, this is my first time hearing your presentation because I missed that day, and I just have to say congratulations. I got goosebumps.
Oh,
As
thank you.
The further you got into your testimonials, clearly the product speaks for itself. So fantastic job.
Thank you.
I just want to commend you on your brand.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, I'm not a horse girl, but if I saw that, I think it speaks well to what you're going for, and it would make me wonder what your product is. So I would search it, even though I don't own them. So thank you. Great job.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Yeah, great job, Megan. I just wanted to know, you had a lot of testimonials, so you've had this tested out a lot. Did you get any constructive criticism about the design or any other aspect of it?
We did use a couple prototypes, which we made with 3D printing. So we did modify it to where it is today. And like I said, in the future, I have some more myofascial release products for horses that I would like to create that will target a little bit different areas of the body in a different way. But this is a great beginner tool. As far as reviews from people, and even Scott said, gosh, nobody said anything bad. And they really didn't. But if you think about it, just going out to massage your horse, they are not going to complain. So it's kind of a hard product to get
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Great job, Megan. You've
Thanks.
sold 2 to my family already, so
All right.
we're off and running here. My question is related to kind of product development fulfillment. I'm just curious. I think I saw a slide that said you were maybe looking to try to do some of that in Wyoming, but maybe you'll have to go out of state for that. But is your goal so that somebody could literally get online, make a purchase, and whoever you have doing fulfillment for you be a direct ship to you, or do you see having a warehouse, all of that in Wyoming, and manage that yourself?
It's a good question. We would love to, we're going to order the first 5,000 units, and as we start the business, we'll be running it out of our home. But as it continues, I would like to have a contract with a fulfillment company that when somebody orders it online, they can package it and ship it for me. We will have the blades attached to packaging when it shows up here in Wyoming, which those will be outsourced from Wyoming, but in the United States. And then a fulfillment company could do the packaging to mail for me. I do have a contract with USPS right now where they can mail my product for $4 or less anywhere in the United States. And they have a program that's really easy for me to pull it up, print off whoever has purchased one, and I can mail it the next day. Yeah.
I don't have any further questions. I think you've come a long way in the last 6 weeks. I love the idea of the Horsewell Classic. Good luck with that.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Okay, so that completes our first 3 pitches for this evening. We are going to do a 10-minute intermission. It is currently 6:53. We are going to start at 7:04 promptly. So go ahead, take a quick break, and be back at 7:04. We'll see you then. very solid pitches, but I think you'll find that the second half is going to be equally as solid. Starting with Darwin Williamson. This is an entrepreneur that has developed a hitch and tailgate solution. His company is called Solid Hitch. Go ahead and welcome Darwin.
Thank you. I'm here to introduce you to a unique hitch. And I was telling my grandkids about my unique hitch. They said, yeah, it's unique. I said, well, use the word unique in a sentence. He says, the best way to get your elk is when you sneak up on them. So anyway, my name is Darwin Williamson. I was born in South Dakota. Grew up with 9 brothers and 4 sisters. And as all of you know, if you grow up in the rural country and you've got a large family, Dad don't take anything to get fixed. You fix it yourself. And that's kind of the way we grew up. And I was fortunate enough to grow up around a father that was mechanic and welding and a little bit of everything. And the more I worked around pulling trailers, I was probably pulling them when I was 14 years old, working with Dad. And, you know, I self-employed for 20 years, well, all my adult life, 40 years, and pulling trailers, mechanic and auto body, garage door business, everything that pertains to being self-employed. And I got tired of the rattle and hitching, and I finally decided I got to fix this. And one day I was at my shop and I fixed a trailer that had a hydraulic tongue on it, and I welded it and put electric brakes on it and got rid of it. And I looked down at my hitch and I still had that rattle and hitch. And you all know, if you've towed trailers, what that is. Well, you do know, and as you can see, this post and this tapered pocket, that's how I come up with an idea to fix it. It improves the existing hitches with that tapered design. And you can have 2 balls on the same hitch at different heights, which you can't do with any other one. I was able to do this to adapt it to your regular vehicle with a simple adapter that you put into your existing hitch. And then you bolt that, weld it, whatever option you choose to eliminate that. But if you've ever had to stop and check your hitch because of an unusual loud clunk, or just because your spouse insisted, you know, it's happened, and we all do it. But it's safer, no excessive movement to cause wear. It does not pull on just the pin. All these old hitches, and you know, they pull on the pin, and eventually the more fatigue, the more it wears, and it is a problem. The stability. I've been pulling trailers with these hitches on my pickups for about 2 years. I've probably towed trailers 50,000 miles since I started using this. And it's amazing the amount of stability you have, even the side sway, when that hitch isn't moving back and forth, such as this right here. And the more it does that, you go over the big bumps and you get the trailer buck. You know, that trailer, you get that hump that hits you. So I have tested it. I've tested it with lots of weight. I've tested it through all kinds of conditions. And it's smoother towing. It does give you ease of mind. And over here you can see that hole, how it's worn in there. And that's on the hitch piece itself. That's on this piece. That's not even counting the hole that wears in the side of it. Here's a video that explains it. That video really explains what it's about, how easy it is to retrofit or to adapt to your existing hitches that are out there. The bumper issue that you've seen on there is with the GM's Multi-Pro and Multi-Flex tailgates that are out there. There's approximately 480,000 pickups that could have that bumper on it since they started, or that tailgate on it since they started offering it. And later on here, well, you did see one picture there that I actually have of a bumper that's in the works to solve that problem. But is this hitch for you? You know, we all have a little bit of trailers on that we pull periodically. The ones that pull more consistently with heavier loads, they're gonna feel that smoother towing. But everybody knows what that rattle and clunk is. And the amount of play that's there in them is not safe. One thing is trailer lights. You know, how many times have we hooked up a trailer and we cannot get our trailer lights to work? Or going down the road and they're flickering, or our trailer brakes aren't working like they should be. And a lot of that is because of this right here. And if your hitch is floating or there's not constant pressure or whatever, it's not grounding in there. Here, you know, there's zero play in it, and it's a ground tight fit. So of the 400 million licensed vehicles in the US, 40% will have trailer towing capacity. This computes to 160 million vehicles that are considered target market in the US today. And in 2019, there were 3 million pickups sold in the US, all capable of towing a trailer and equipped with a problematic receiver hitch like this. One of the nice things about this is the ease of use. There's no down crawling in and out. You simply pull a pin, lift it up, turn it, drop it back in for your different trailer heights, and it is available in different heights, as you can see some of them that I've got here. You know, if it's a 4x4 or if you have a taller pickup, there's a 7-inch drop, and you can, whatever's needed will be available. Hitches and hitch clamps. That hitch you see there is the same one that was in that video with all the slop in it. You have the sloppy connection here, everywhere one of these pins are, and in here you have play. But most commonly, it's just simply this right here, which is on this model here, the excessive play. The hitch clamps that a lot of people use, if they're not changing their hitches very often, they'll put one of these hitch clamps on it. I call them a Band-Aid, because it's not a fix. It's, if you have to use it later, it requires tools. It's going to be rusted. It's going to be in the mud, the ice, the snow, whatever, and it's very inconvenient. Growth plan. You know, right now, figuring it at 100% annually growth from where we were starting out at, the market is huge, and the consumers are everybody that pulls a trailer, but where do you get them? You know, you go to O'Reilly's, you go to wherever, Walmart. So we'll maintain our growth through the large purchase wholesalers such as those. Direct to consumer sales using online sources such as Amazon, company website, YouTube, whatever. The intent to distribute them is not just going to be statewide, regional wide, whatever. It will be nationally in the U.S. as well as foreign markets. There's a huge market for these in European countries because they've got so many small traders. Startup challenge fund importance. If you don't have product, you can't sell it, and you know that's the biggest thing with everybody that's in that. You know, if you have the product to ship, you can sell it, and that's one of the biggest deals here. I want to, and I've always been a supporter of whoops. I learn how to run these things. But, you know, Wyoming, Sheridan, Wyoming, you know, we live here in the wonderful part of the world. We're very fortunate to live here. And we have ability to continue to have these type of products here being based out of Sheridan, Wyoming, and it can benefit not just Sheridan, but the whole state of Wyoming. Solid Hitch is structured to be a pass-through company maintaining relationship with wholesalers and consumers. We want to keep it that way, so it's Solid Hitch is a local pass-through company. Currently, I've 100% into this for about the last 2 years right now, every bit of it. I put about $150,000 into it, probably more than that, but the design, everything has been pretty much myself. You know, right now, my parts have been cast pieces. They're cast, they're not bent or fabricated, and I've changed some of the design. I've got 12 pieces that will be cast that consume of these and some other pieces. And unfortunately, I've had to get those through China because we don't cast large volumes and whatnot here in the U.S. I would like to bring a lot of that back to the U.S., but right now I've had to get them from overseas. I mentioned the bumper that fixes some of that. This here is a couple of products that I have in the works. The bumper, which is a complete bumper, it eliminates the use of a receiver hitch underneath. I really feel that our OEM manufacturers, GM, Ford, Dodge, Toyota, everybody will eventually switch to this bumper and this hitch because it's a cost savings, it's safer, it's ease of use. And these are some of the projections at a low volume projections. The first year that we put it into production, and it could be next year. You know, 1,125,000. Second year projections, $2,250,000. And I've got an equalizer hitch that I've been working on a little bit hands-on, but mostly in my head where all these things come from. But I've got it to where it's going to work along with any of my hitches, but it won't be a trailer-specific equalizer. You can take it with you. It'll have a quick attach that attaches it to your tongue, and you can take it with you so you can use it on, if you have a car trailer, anything with a heavier load, you can take this with you and use it on that. And the projections on them, you're going to spend $500 for an equalizer hitch. And when I did these, I think I put them at $300 because there's a lot less stuff in them compared to cost stuff. 3-year financials this year, 2022, we're in the red, as any startup business is. And the hitch units, when you look at the hitch units, 2023, 3,459 units. And the average cost of these is around $375, which is very affordable when you're looking at hitches, especially with all the problems you're solving. I had a lady the other day sitting in my office, and she's been working with me quite a while doing some books on this the last couple of years, and she's like, well, how much are these going to cost? I said, an average is going to be about $375. She said, that's it? She tows, and she tows horses. I think Megan could appreciate a smoother ride for horses with less buck and a little less sway. But then the 2024 predictions, $2,250,000. Those are very conservative when you look at the numbers of vehicles that are towed and hitches that are out there. Why you should invest? The one thing about this is a high-use product. The sizes are small. They're manageable for manufacturing, shipping, warehousing. It's not going to create a large forklifts and stuff to install them, to unload them, to all of that kind of stuff. We've got the revenue streams of retail, wholesale, and licensing. When GM or whomever decides to take it and use it, other hitch companies, they're probably going to want to license it and possibly do some of the manufacturing of their own. There's really no competition for any of these products. There's nobody else that offers this. No one. We've got a large population to sell them to. The product is easily understood to the general public. It's self-explanatory. It doesn't require any expertise to understand it. They're affordable. It's basically a plug and play from your old style hitch to put this in. The bumpers will mount to an existing frame, no modification necessary, and easily packaged for shipping. No extensive or specialized labor even for manufacturing. It's a high volume product. And if you tow, we're out here in the upper Midwest, and this is why we live here. And when you can tow with the convenience, whether it's four-wheelers, parts, whatever, heavy loads, snowmobiles, camping, boating, we live in a very wonderful place. And this is the reason that I come up with this, is because I tow trailers. And I think you can all appreciate that. This will be the hitch of the future, I believe. Thank you. Gotta turn that thing on.
Okay, we're good. We're live. Great job. I really appreciate where you're at today with the product that you have before us. Even from the last presentation, we're able to see a lot more clearly how this thing looks, how it operates. It's really fantastic. I only had one question. It's got more to do with design than business, I guess. But I did notice in some of the close-up pictures, I could see welded seams there on some of the parts of it. And I'm just curious if you ever had any kind of load testing done, or if you got plans to look into load testing in terms of its ability to.
That's a great.
What's the threshold?
A great question, because there is some welding. Some of the pieces right now, like this tube that is welded to the pocket, like these welds here. I have a lab set up. It's actually currently a lab in Wisconsin that is going to do my load testing and destructive testing. So they will test it for load, stress, and then they'll go ahead and break it in all temperatures to see how it holds up. Personally, this hitch right here, I just towed that picture that had the trailer with the 2 forklifts in it. That was 22,000 pound load. And I towed that 1,054 miles. And so I tested it, but I've only got these on my pickup, one grandson's pickup, and one other guy that have using them.
Do you intend on selling that with that design you have?
Yes, they'll be available in any combination. If you have a 2-inch tube, if you have a 2.5-inch tube, receiver I'm saying, or a 3-inch, because now we have all of that. Well, so whichever one you get, it'll have that size of tube with the pocket that hooks to it. So you'll have this and then whatever combination for your specific vehicle. If you got a 3/4 ton and it says 3 inches higher, or if somebody puts a lift kit on a pickup and it's 7 inches higher, you'll be able to get whatever combination of a hitch that you want for it.
Thank you.
Darwin, I'm fascinated by your innovation.
Thank
you. Yeah. My question for you is it specific to GM models only at this point? No.
Yeah. Any vehicle made, if you have a trailer hitch on it that is a horizontal tube trailer hitch, this is good for it. So you can convert anyone. The tailgate model is the GM only that has the issue. But no, that bumper will also be for any manufacturer. And one advantage to that was the distance that it sticks out from your bumper. With my bumper, you won't whack your knee on it walking by it.
Okay.
Does that answer your question? I promise.
I've been doing that a lot lately.
Yeah.
My second question is, you're actually purchasing the entire bumper and not just the hitch, is that correct?
That's an option.
Okay. And so looking at production, when you say that you think this is the bumper or the hitch of the future, where are you planning on doing the manufacturing, and how are you going to keep up with such a large projection? That's
a great question, and I was hoping you'd answer it, or you'd ask it. But
I'd love to answer it.
Right now, if I say tomorrow, going into production, within 140 days I can have my first product, and if I want 100,000 combinations of whatever this is, they say they can have it for me. If we don't run out of diesel fuel, thanks to our...
That's a different pitch.
But anyway, we can have, the production is sustainable. That's one thing that with my casting connection, which he's out of Wisconsin and Ohio, and I stumbled onto this guy. It's amazing because what I've accomplished since I started working on it with him. But he has reassured me that whatever the needs are, they will be able to supply it. So, and a lot of it, I think, is going to go down to, you know, like the bumpers. If the funding is there and Sheridan wants it, we can manufacture this line of bumpers in Sheridan, and the only pieces that are coming from overseas would be the cast pieces, you know, these pieces here, and then we'll package them and ship them. If they're buying kits or a complete bumper, if it's built here, it'll be that way.
Great, thank you.
Darwin, there's a foundry in Casper, XCal, if you haven't checked with them, that could probably cast that stuff for you.
Thank you. I would love to.
Nice work. Your presentation is much improved from the preliminary, and I
Thank
like
you.
the video that you added. Very nice.
Yeah, thank you.
So I'm wondering about the cost. You're looking to sell just the hitch component at around $375, is that right?
Yeah, if just say you have a pickup that takes like the standard tri-balls that you have nowadays. So you're going to buy the plate with the adapter that goes in your pickup or SUV. So you're going to buy that with the bolt that goes through it, the two balls on it, and it's going to be, that particular model is probably going to be closer to 3 1/4, and then it will fit any vehicle that's out there.
Okay. And what is your cost to manufacture that unit right now?
I'm going to probably average, and the only thing that isn't in there firmly yet would be if there's extra packaging for shipping, but I figured a little bit in there, but about $75.
Okay. All right. Great. Thank you.
Darwin, you've got a lot of different models, and you talk about you can make it for whatever size you want, but I'm guessing the casting, the molding for each one is going to be costly.
It
You
is.
end up having 20 different SKUs. So if you're trying to get going, is there one that's going to be the most common that you're going to first try to target to bring your startup costs down? That's my first question.
You know, I've struggled with that a little bit myself, because it's like this one right here works perfect on my pickup for every trailer I've ever pulled. My 2 5/16 ball trailers take a 3-inch higher than my 2-inch trailers. So I used to say that this was the most common. And then I talked to a few different people, and they're like, well, I got a 3/4 ton, and they knew her 3/4 ton set just a little bit higher. So they're saying they need a 4-inch drop, which is like this, but not a double 4. They'd want a 4 and a 7-inch drop on one side and a 4-inch on the other, or a double 7. So to answer the tooling question, for me to tool my 12 pieces, there's 12 separate pieces that I've designed for it, it's $24,700, which is cheap compared to tooling here and whatnot, especially on ductile iron or whatever. I got a quote here for ductile iron, two quotes. One of them was 12 grand for one tool, and the other one was 8,000 for one tool. So I really feel like it's do all the tooling for all 12 pieces. They have it, they can start manufacturing, they can order different quantities to start with.
And then one last question. As you move forward, at some point you're going to need to, I don't know what the minimum order is going to be, 1,000 or 5,000. That's going to be a significant amount of capital going into that. But you'd kind of like to have an idea of how you're going to sell it or how many you're going to have pre-ordered before that. So have you spoke with other people, fleets or licensing, to try to get a sense of appetite for this?
You know, I haven't. I've spoken to some verbally, but I'm patent approved, but I don't have my patent yet, and that's one reason why I've really held back for 2 years of not putting it out there. I feel like the sales that I'm going to have a lot more problem keeping up with supply than demand. And, you know, right now I've got a shop at my house that's 40 by 72 facility. I've got a couple forklifts and welders and, you know, all of that stuff. But I feel like the marketing, because of what it is, the amount of truck people that have sites and different stuff, that they're gonna want to license to this. Even like Kurt Group, largest hitch manufacturer in the United States. This is taking food out of their mouth when I do this, because when they see this, it's gonna be the hitch of the future. And they're gonna want this, because it's been a problem since they started putting horizontal hitches on vehicles in the 60s. So I don't know if that answers your question.
Great presentation. And
Thank you.
Great videos. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Right now, I mean, it's not a matter of can't. The reason I went with this company out of Wisconsin with the China connection was the basic piece of this piece and this piece to have manufactured right here in Sheridan by two different shops was $377 if I ordered 1,000 of them. This right here I got for $50 overseas. And that's sad, but it's the real truth. Yes, yes, and I'd love to. I really would. My intent is to eventually have it manufactured here. And I'd love to do it in Sheridan, hopefully, sometime.
Darwin, thank you. Maybe that's an opportunity for Startup Challenge 2023. We'll think about that. Okay. All right, Darwin, thank you very much. Okay, so I hope everyone is ready for a little bit of a sweet treat right after dinner time. We have Marissa Logan with Cannoli Bliss. She's got a very, very interesting presentation and a pretty ambitious plan for expansion. So let's go ahead and welcome Marissa. Thank you.
Looks like it popped up, but that's not my first page. Perfect, thank you. No, I just told him that it's not on the wrong page, or on the right page. That's the last page. Perfect. All right, well, hello everybody. Thanks so much for being here, and thanks for having me here. My name's Marissa Logan, and I am the owner of Cannoli Bliss. Take a bite and sink into sweet cannoli bliss. So in the beginning, Cannoli Bliss has always just kind of been a work in progress. I was basically born and raised in the kitchen. My grandmother on my father's side was a cake decorator. She made wedding cakes. And then my great-grandmother on my mother's side were a big Italian family. So everything is all about food. You experience life through food. And not to mention, it's all about big portions. You don't just make just a couple servings of spaghetti. You make 50 servings of spaghetti and hope everybody shows up. Our recipes have been passed down from generation to generation. Growing up, my mother, she kind of started to sell cannolis on the side. You know, kids are expensive. And then once I became an adult and had kids of my own, I realized kind of the same thing. Kids are really expensive. So then Cannoli Bliss was born. For a while there, I mean, I've always been working in the food industry since I got my first job as a waitress. And then eventually I became a cake decorator for a little while and kind of just got tired of making pennies on the dollar. So I decided it was time to work for myself and grow Cannoli Bliss to what I knew it could become. So Cannoli Bliss was born. So who am I? Cannoli Bliss is a specialty bakery providing Italian desserts, authentic Italian desserts, gluten-free, sugar-free desserts, plus savory items to all of Wyoming and the entire Rocky Mountain region. I currently have a food truck that I tow all the time, and then I'll soon be opening a kiosk in December that'll be coffee and cannolis. And then our immediate goals are to open a full commercial bakery offering wholesale to all of Wyoming, Montana, and Colorado. So this is just kind of taking us back to the beginning. This picture here is me at my very first booth I ever did with Cannoli Bliss. It was just a little craft fair at the college. You see my nice fancy paper bowls there. And this is what the cannoli started out. My recipe wasn't finalized, and it was just an obviously homemade product. But this is where we began. Then in October, I guess September of last year, I bought my very first food trailer, this little green machine here. And we kind of just revamped it and turned it into what you see there. Unfortunately, I was driving through Laramie, Wyoming, and on my way to Casper, and it literally blew the roof off. The wind was so bad. So we kind of just DIY'd it, fixed her up. Insurance obviously doesn't cover, all the things. So we sold her off, and I have now upgraded into this 16-foot trailer that I tow all over Wyoming and Montana. This picture here is just a generic picture of a commercial bakery, just to give you an idea of what I'm looking to upgrade towards. That is the big dream, six or seven ovens there, large scale production. These are just some pictures of what I dream of every day when I go to sleep. Walking into my commercial bakery and seeing those bakery cases and just seeing them filled with the beautiful treats that I can't wait to let everybody else enjoy. So there's nothing like us, really. Cannoli Bliss, we sell authentic cannolis and other authentic Italian desserts. You really can't get anything that is even close to similar within a 1,500-mile radius. You can go down to Walmart and get, 5 cannolis that are sitting on the shelf for 5 days for $3, but they're going to be disgusting. We offer gluten-free and sugar-free versions of every treat you can possibly imagine. As a diabetic myself, something that I'm really passionate about is providing desserts to people who kind of just miss out on that whole experience. Food for me as an Italian is life. So you don't want to just have like a subpar treat. You want it to be just as good. You don't want to have to miss out. This kind of just allows a grand amount of people to indulge in the treats that they normally aren't able to eat. Many of our current gluten-free customers often tell us how we're the only ones who provide treats that are even close to anything good. People who eat a gluten-free lifestyle, celiacs, diabetics, ketogenic lifestyle, or people just with a healthy mindset, we really, no matter what dietary needs you may have, we offer something for everybody. Our target market is really kind of simple. It's anybody who likes to eat. Those who crave an authentic Italian dessert as well, and then from a sweet treat craving to a dietary need, we can provide our bakery items to anybody. As we expand into our wholesale, we can provide to a significantly larger populace, not just Wyoming, Montana, and Colorado, but to any of the states from coast to coast. Our goal is to provide savory cannoli as well. That includes breakfast, lunch, dinner, any kind of options that you can imagine, which are also available for our wholesale customers. Cannoli will be a great part of your day for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. A lot of our customers are of the older generation that really just appreciate those handcrafted products that take a lot of time and blood, sweat, and tears to create. So that's who we are. So I kind of wanted to include a little bit of the process of what it's like to make a cannoli. They do run a little bit more pricey, and so if you can get some insight as to what the process is like, you can kind of understand how much work I really put into this. So you start with your just typical bowl of flour. You're creating a pastry dough, which is primarily just fat. You got a lot of butter and egg yolks, and then there's your ball of dough. From here, we use our dough sheeter, where we roll out the dough really quickly. I used to roll, and well, actually, my ex-husband used to roll all the dough out for me. But we used to roll out the dough by hand with a rolling pin, and it really was a lot of work. It would take us 12 hours to make about 100 cannolis, and it was, you were waking up making cannolis and going to sleep dreaming about cannolis. So this really cut down on our production time a lot. So you'll roll through, that is basically just a giant rolling pin on like a clamp, and so you can change with a knob how thin your dough comes, and then we cut it out with our specialty cutters and layer it in layers upon layers of parchment paper. From here, we take the dowels, the metal dowels, and roll the dough onto them, pop them in the fryer. Although you can see here, one of them popped open. It's not success with every single one that you're making. A lot of it is just, hit or miss, and sometimes even me, who's made thousands upon thousands of cannolis, this happens, probably once every 10 cannolis or so. But I do try to still use them. We turn them into cannoli chips and dips so that you can share with all of your family and friends at a discounted rate, since it's not quite so pretty. After that, you just fill your cannolis with your cannoli cream, and the beautiful product is born. So as far as financials go, I offer 3 sizes of cannolis. You've got your mini, you've got your regular, and you've got your jumbos, $5, $8, and $12 each. Pricing is adjusted based on demand and events that we go to. For example, I just recently, a couple days ago, got back from the Tattoo Expo in Billings, Montana, where we sold the regulars for $10 each, jumbos for $15, and nobody batted an eyelash. Gluten-free and keto options are the size of minis, but sold at $10 a piece. They're a lot more labor-intensive than even the regular cannolis because it's different flour, different dough. And then the keto one is actually a batter, and so that has to be made on a specialty machine, a Pizelle machine, and then cooked individually, so it takes a lot of time. So far, for 2022, Cannoli Bliss has brought in about $50,000 in sales, and we've sold about roughly 5,000 cannolis since May of this year. If Cannoli Bliss is successful in our wholesale avenues, I could really bring in probably 4 times the amount of revenue with the product that we sell in the same amount of work time that I'm already putting forth. The ability to hire a few employees would enable me to further my production and increase those avenues tenfold or even more. Financials continued. Cost to make the shells is roughly the same per shell. It's just the way that you apply it on the dowel. So the cost doesn't change there. The cannoli shells, as you've seen, are very labor intensive and time consuming, but extremely cheap to make. We can make about 150 to 200 shells a day. Each shell costs 87 cents to make, and then gluten-free shells cost $1 to make. Cannoli cream costs 92 cents per 2 ounces. 2 ounces is a regular cannoli, to kind of put it in perspective. The keto shells cost $2 each to make because they're a batter and can only be made one at a time. And the keto cannoli cream costs $1.50 to make. Those substitute sugars are really expensive. I do plan on ordering more in bulk once I'm able to expand. Just currently, I have not been able to do that. But once I do, the prices will be a little bit lower. So this is my 3-year financials. My net profit for 2022 is only about $3,000. That's mostly because I'm just shuffling like every single cent that I have back into the business, expanding recipes, expanding all my licensure in multiple different states that are surrounding us, and then advertising, marketing costs, things of that nature. 2023 projected sales is $108,000, or net profit, excuse me. And then 2024 is 248. These are really pretty low numbers. Honestly, the numbers could be much higher. I just wanted to be a little bit more, take it easy on those, because you just never know. Might be another COVID in the next year or so or something. Goals and growth. My goal with Cannoli Bliss is to just expand as much as possible. I I'm already putting 50, 60 hours a week into my business right now. Summertime, it was probably more like 80, 90, 100. Economic growth is huge for Cannoli Bliss and Sheridan. Honestly, the more that we expand, the more that it helps our community as well, hiring new jobs, having new shell makers, and then also if I'm to open a commercial bakery, it will allow other local entrepreneurs to grow their businesses as well. We plan to have a storefront, a bakery storefront, and those entrepreneurs, other cake decorators, other cookie makers, they can come in and use our kitchen. We get a rent from them and then also receive a percentage of sales from whatever products that they make. So, I plan to be the next crumble cookie. Now, I don't know if you know much about crumble cookie, but they are delicious. But they really are one of the fastest growing cookie companies in the nation. They opened their store in 2017 in Logan, Utah. It has a population of about 54,000 people. Sheridan, I just looked it up, and we're at roughly 42,000 people now. So the population rates are pretty much the same. By 2018, they established their marketing plan and their iconic weekly menu. So if you don't know much about them, they have a weekly rotating flavor menu. They always have sugar cookies and chocolate chip, but then they're always rotating and expanding their inventory and the things that they provide, and they make beautifully delicious looking videos of their cookies. So now, today, they have well over 300 bakeries in 36 states. That's in 5 years, they have gone from one bakery to over 300. Again, they're the fastest growing cookie franchise in the nation. The initial investment to open up one of these bakeries is $250,000 to $550,000. The Crumble Cookie Company, they receive 8% in royalties and 2% in ad royalties. Their net worth now, after just 5 years, is $47 million. So again, we plan to be the next Crumble Cookie. What's stopping me from becoming the next fastest growing bakery in the nation? So as far as investing the startup money, I really want to allocate it as best as possible. Kitchen equipment is very expensive. Starting up a commercial bakery is expensive, and so I really want to do it right. The most important thing out of all the things on this list are the self-contained fryers. You cannot run a fryer without a hood, which is a ventilation system, and fire suppression system. You don't want to start a fire with your big fryer. So there are fryers that cost, sorry, let me back up. That costs about $100,000 to install just the ventilation system into a building. Or I can get one of these self-contained fryers for a fraction of the cost, and it includes the hood, the fire suppression, and the filtration system all in one unit. That allows me to not only have to worry about, that allows me to be able to operate out of any building that works for us. Any kind of storefront, I can bring in this fryer and operate anywhere. Like I was telling the Impact team, I could just set up right in their office, and they didn't seem too much against it. Other things that we can invest the money in: inventory capital, different flavorings, extracts, flour, kitchen prep station, bakery space. Honestly, my preference would to just be to find an actual space to work out of. As I turned in the PowerPoint and got everything sent to Scott, I was searching for better options, and I actually found this. It's twice the size of that $21,000 fryer, and then I can just use the fryers that I already have, which are commercial, and they only cost about $200. So it saves a third of the money, and then that can be allocated in kind of a better way. And it didn't show up again. Will you minimize that? Thank you. So this is my business card and all of our information. If you would like to contact me about catering, we are operating full-time. And thank you so much for listening to me.
Nice job. Great presentation.
Thank you.
So I'm thinking about this expansion. You're talking about hiring, which would be great. You have all these wonderful ideas as the business owner and leader.
Yeah.
But you're doing all the baking, right?
I'm doing all the things.
So
Yep.
what are you picturing? Would you like to hire a business manager? Would you like to become the business manager and hire bakers? Or what are you looking to hire? What types of positions?
It would mostly be people making the shells. One thing that I meant to mention that I didn't is that one of the busiest cannoli shops in the United States, it's Mike's Pastry Shop. They sell 35,000 cannolis a week. So that is really what I plan to be. But I can only make so many cannoli shells myself. And that's the most time-consuming part of it. So if I can hire other people to help me make all of that production, that's where I need the help.
Okay, great. And then I have kind of an interesting question as you're thinking about catering to the allergy-friendly. Could a dairy-free cannoli exist?
I've had a lot of people ask me that. There are dairy-free alternatives to ricotta cheese, which is what a cannoli cream is made out of. I have not played with them very much. I actually order in a specialty ricotta from New Jersey because it's the most authentic and it is thicker and sweeter and denser. Our old process was I would just go buy a bunch of ricotta from the store and strain it with cheesecloth, but even that was more time consuming too. So I don't know if it would work because the moisture content really affects how the cannoli turns out.
Okay, yeah, it'll be interesting.
I'll try it.
I have to commend you on your dietary specialties because I can't do gluten, and I ate your gluten-free cannolis, and I did not feel cheated.
Good.
So thank you.
I'm very glad to hear that.
Preach that far and wide. It was a real dessert.
Thank you.
So thank you. I don't have any questions for you. Just a comment.
Thanks.
I'm sorry if I missed it. Are you at liberty to share what your gross revenue was this year?
Gross revenue. So that's just completely total. It was the 50,000.
50.
Yeah.
And
Our
so
net profit is really only like 3,000 this year, just because I've sunk all my money into everything and had to restart after the other trailer broke down.
Okay, and what's your projected gross for next year to net 150 or 105, I think it was?
Yeah, net is 108. I can't remember off the top of my head, but I can go back and we can look at it. There we go. So, let's see, 2023, it's, 350,000 roughly.
Okay. 30%, that's pretty good. Thank you.
I'm hungry. Great presentation.
I do have cannolis that I'll be giving out for free after
the judges will have to
reception.
sneak out early, I think. Then, I was curious about the scalability, like your plan to scale and grow.
Yeah.
You mentioned crumble cookie. My son has spent a lot of money in Rapid City on crumble cookies, and so I know they're very popular. But that's a franchise operation as
Right.
well. So is that kind of your vision to try to get to a point where you're actually a franchisor and creating franchise opportunities?
I've thought about it. I go back and forth between whether or not I want to do wholesale or whether I want to franchise. Right now, the current avenues that I'm going down is more towards wholesale because then I can focus on making the product myself and ensuring a better quality. Quality is super important for me, and I don't want to franchise out and then have that quality be diminished. I still want to be as authentic as possible. And with a franchise, I just don't know if that's a possibility. Thank you.
I think we may have to arrange a rent for a monthly supply of cannolis coming in our incubator. So, okay, we've had 5 pitches. We have 1 remaining, and I think you're going to really enjoy this one. This is Louisa Crosby. She has a direct primary health care idea for Sheridan and the greater portions of Wyoming. Her business is called Gannett Health. Please welcome Louisa.
Hello, everyone. I am Louisa Crosby and the founder of Gannett Health. I'm a Sheridan native. I moved back home in 2019 to raise my family here. And as a nurse practitioner, the bulk of my career has been in hospital care. I've also worked in urgent care, women's health, as well as geriatrics. And I'm excited to share with you the healthcare services that I envision offering Sheridan County as well as the greater state of Wyoming. All right, perfect. Let me get my microphone to stay here. So I want to first tell you about my dear friend Marianne. 15 years ago, when she was 29 years old, Marianne was diagnosed with metastatic breast cancer. And over the years, she's experienced really countless hospitalizations, procedures, surgeries, complications. And her community and myself have witnessed really the cost of the lack of continuity in her care and the cost of pain and time, and really time, her most precious resource, and how that has exacerbated the trauma that she already experienced from having such a devastating diagnosis. It wasn't until recently, when she was admitted to hospice, where her nurse sat down with her and said, "Marianne, I am going to walk alongside you for every step of the way for the rest of your life." And it's really that type of provider that I want to be for my patients. We've come so far from that country doctor model where you know me and I know you. I'm able to provide that continuity of care, that support, that access, and that peace of mind. And I want to get back to that. That's why I'm here, and that's why Gannett Health is here. So what is direct primary care? Direct primary care is an evidence-based model of medicine that relies on a patient to pay a monthly membership fee directly to their provider. That monthly membership fee covers all of your primary preventive care as well as urgent care services. There are no hidden fees, and you don't have the headache of surprise medical bills. It includes clinic appointments, telemedicine, house calls, lab draws, and healthcare advocacy. So why is this better than traditional healthcare? We can take one of many examples. Traditional healthcare, you might be paying a $600 a month high deductible marketplace plan, but it doesn't give you access to comprehensive primary care services and urgent care, because for every single time you go into the doctor's office, you have to pay a copay, or you're still paying into that $6,000 deductible annually. Again, direct primary care, that one monthly fee, which at Gannett Health ranges between $40 and $110 per month, covers all of your services. I think that this graphic really speaks for itself. Traditional care. You might interact with 5 different intermediaries between yourself and your provider. With direct primary care, the relationship is directly between you and myself. I'm not having to deal with insurance overhead or bureaucracy that takes 50% of my time away from my patients. So instead, I'm able to give that time directly back to you. We're also not worried about whether or not an insurance company is going to cover a service that you and I have decided is best for your care plan. Overall, direct primary care is a better healthcare experience. In a traditional model, you might be waiting 24 days before you get in to see your provider. And once you do actually get there, you're waiting 20, 30, 40 minutes in that waiting room. And then once you do see your provider, you have what is the average of 8 to 12 minutes with them. It's not enough time to care for you. Direct primary care, same-day appointments, weekend appointments, after-hours appointments, appointments that are on time and unrushed, you have as much time as you need to make sure that your health priorities are being attended to. Studies also show that in direct primary care models, we're able to provide more care under one umbrella. So we can take an example. Instead of me having to refer you to dermatology for a skin biopsy or to orthopedics for a steroid joint injection, I can perform those services for you in the comfort of your own home or at our clinic. So I've spoken to a lot of the benefits of a DPC model, and I will add that because we have access to wholesale lab pricing, we really prioritize passing along that savings directly to the patient because it's all about access and saving you money. People also ask, well, what happens if I'm hospitalized? I am able to come and visit you in the hospital and make sure that you understand what's going on and you're getting your questions answered. I'm able to collaborate with your care team and ensure that they know your health history. I'm also able to visit you in your home after your discharge to make sure that you're on track to recovery. So where are the unmet needs across the state and here locally? Within Sheridan County, generally speaking, I want to capture 5% of our population. Statewide, 1%. But we have other populations here that we may or may not have thought of. Our seasonal population, those polo players, those anglers, golfers, snowbirds. I don't have great numbers for this population because they're just not included in our census, so I've just provided a very low range here. Across the state of Wyoming, our uninsured population is 12.7%. And so I'm capturing 5% of that population within Sheridan County and 1% in the rest of Wyoming. Dementia Friendly Wyoming has done great work in this state over the past several years, and they have identified 300 individuals who are homebound with dementia, and I want to care for all of those people. Statewide, we don't have a great correlation, so I've provided a general estimate of about 1,000 people. So when we really look at the potential patient member population here locally, it's around 2,500 individuals, and then statewide, around 8,700 individuals. Across Wyoming, there are 9 direct primary care practices. There are 0 in Sheridan County. I have spoken with a number of these other providers, and they are all reporting a thriving business to the extent that some of them have stopped taking new patients or just completely shut down their websites because they're inundated. My goal is to establish a really strong hub here in Sheridan County and gradually expand across the state, primarily to some of these locations where there are not DPC models already in place and what we might consider more healthcare deserts, where you might not be as close to a hospital, or you might only have one choice for your healthcare. In order to support 2,500 patients here in this county, I need at least 10 full-time support staff. Across the rest of the state, if I am to reach my goal and expand to at least 9 other locations, I would need 3 support staff for each one of those locations, a provider, a nurse, as well as an office support member, for a total of 37 full-time, fully benefited jobs statewide. I think it's safe to say that staffing shortages are on the top of everyone's mind. What's interesting is that I've already been contacted by several nurses and providers who are interested in working with Gannett Health because they're interested in a different type of professional lifestyle. I am offering an annual benefit or a benefits package of an annual 5 to 10% bonus to all employees, just depending on our profit margin that year. That's based on their salary. A productivity bonus for all of our providers, health insurance, 4 weeks paid time off, US holidays, reimbursement for your cell phone, your mileage, your computer, your licensing fees, your liability insurance, as well as a $1,000 to $2,000 continuing education fund. I'll note that on the right, these are base salaries, just a starting point that would go up from here, negotiable based on your number of years experience in your field. My roadmap is based on my interviews with other DPC models and providers throughout the state, so I'm confident that I could scale safely at the same level. 3 months, advertising campaign, and open our clinic here in Sheridan. In 6 months, I'd like to be able to provide comprehensive hormone replacement therapy, as well as an EKG service within our clinic. 1 year, I want to expand into psychiatry services that is not only here, but across the state through telemedicine. And I will note that I am in the early phases of negotiating a contract with a dual certified adult and psychiatric nurse practitioner who will hopefully be able to start as early as the fall of 2023. In 2 years, I want to expand into pediatrics so that we're able to take care of that whole family, as well as be opening our second clinic location in a county adjacent to us here in Sheridan. Revenue sources include monthly membership fees, as well as the on-demand services that are available to really any individual. This might be more appealing for somebody who is younger, not on any medications, or doesn't have a chronic disease, but you would still benefit from an annual exam and annual labs. Other types of revenue sources include specialty labs, hormone replacement therapy. Really, over time, our plan is to expand services, and that will generate revenue. My 3-year financial forecast is promising. Certainly in 2022, it's in the red, just due to startup expenses starting late in the year and having a low membership panel. But by 2023, I'm seeing a 30% profit margin. In 2024, that profit margin does decrease to 15%. However, that's because I'm onboarding new staff, and those providers haven't quite met their patient potential or their panel, which is 300 to 400 members annually. Note that if you compare that to a traditional model, most primary care providers take care of anywhere between 2,000 to 3,000 patients per year. My startup capital has been personally funded and is around $20,000. My personal bandwidth is full-time now and going forward, and I also have the support from my partner who is the practice manager for Gannett Health. I envision using seed funding to really begin an advertising campaign so we're able to start recruiting members here locally and across the state for telemedicine services. But I also anticipate expenses for office supplies and medical supplies that will just further augment the services we're able to provide all under one roof. I've already spoken to favorable profit margins, our potential for multi-city or town expansion across the state, but really it's about meeting the unmet needs of our patients, our communities, as well as higher needs individuals. Telemedicine is highly underutilized, and I really see this as a way to access and provide support to patients. I'm also focused on employee quality of life and combating that provider and healthcare personnel burnout that is so pervasive in traditional models, and part of why we're seeing staffing shortages. Overall, direct primary care has so much innovation potential, really with infinite potential for growth, not only here, but across the state. Thank you so much, and I'm happy to answer any questions that you have for me.
Fantastic presentation. I have no business-related questions as far as the functionality in your numbers, but I am curious to know how you came up with your name.
Gannett Peak is the tallest peak in Wyoming, and I found that to be very fitting as something to aspire to.
Great, thanks.
I don't have any questions either. I just am a big believer in this model. I think it's very much needed, and I'm so glad that you are doing this.
Thank you.
I have a lot of questions.
You always do.
How many members per caretaker or per doctor?
So really starting at around 300 to 400 members, that's just a starting point. Most direct primary care providers have a panel of around 500 patients, but it's viable at 150 patients per provider. So it's really up to their comfort level.
And then with those 150, they're not calling you every day. Some of them are once a month, some of them are once a week. And I guess the question I'm getting to is how much of that's telemedicine versus going to visit? So how many visits are you having to make a day or a week doing that? You have a pretty full schedule once you get with 300 members?
So it's really hard to predict how much of a need somebody will have. The average direct primary care member sees their provider 4 times a year in person. So telemedicine is included in everybody's membership plan. That's text, phone call, email, video. And really a lot of those appointments are pretty straightforward, unless you're a telemedicine only member where we're doing the majority, if not all of your care, 30-minute, 1-hour appointments. But with 300 to 500 members on your panel, one would expect to have probably around 4 visits in person per day, and then maybe 4 shorter telemedicine appointments.
I just love the idea of being able to call that same day or the next day and show up. Our health system it's very difficult currently. So I love this model. I don't know, I've never seen it before, but this sounds great. But to that point, you said there's 9 other direct primary care models being done in Wyoming?
Yes.
That's interesting. And no one's started it here yet.
Not to my knowledge, but I'm sure it's just a matter of time. And I will mention that Casper has 3, and one of the practices that I interviewed, within 5 months, they had 150 patients. So they really grew quickly, even with competitors. And their goal is only 300 patients because it's a 1-provider practice.
I'm guessing you won't need to spend $20,000 in advertising to get your members, at least to get your first
That's what
300.
Scott said. I'm just following his lead.
Well, one other question then. Do you do children?
So I am not certified for children, and that's my Achilles heel, and that's why I would be hiring either pediatric or family nurse practitioner so that we're able to expand into pediatrics, possibly even by next year.
Well, I'll be on that list.
I'm really excited about your model. I'm a sandwich generation member, and so I've got kids at home and elderly parents that we're caring for, and I can see the usefulness and application for direct care very much so. I'm curious on two things related to expenses, operational expenses, that can be pretty expensive to healthcare providers: electronic health records and malpractice insurance or medical insurance coverage. Have you looked in and explored, the feasibility of how, options available to you there? And since there are other providers providing this kind of service in Wyoming, that was great to see. Have you been able to partner with them and network with them to get an idea of what they're doing for coverage?
Yes, so I already have liability insurance. What's interesting is that for nurse practitioners in the state of Wyoming, my liability insurance is $844 a year. Compare that to a physician who might start around $100,000, just depending on what field you're in. So really my insurance, including my general liability, is around $1,500, and that's while we're a mobile service. As soon as we move into a physical location, that will go up by about $1,000. So it's really quite affordable. I can't remember this. Electronic health records. We pay per year, it's $3,000 per provider, and that's already accounted for in my projections, and other staff, nurses, don't pay a fee. Thank you so much.
So at this point, can we give all 6 finalists another round of applause? I hope everyone on the live stream has hung with us. There's been a lot of information presented, but hopefully some really informative and interesting, intriguing, innovative plans that will be fun for Impact 307, Impact Sheridan to work with for the months and years to come. So thank you. So now, hopefully everybody has absorbed all of the gist of each of the plans. The audience now has the opportunity to vote for what you believe is the most compelling or favorite plan. So go ahead and you can use the text number and the code accordingly. Live stream members, you've been seeing the feed throughout the presentation, so you should be able to do the same. At this point, we will end the program. We're going to dismiss the judges to go begin the very difficult process of deliberating through how they want to assign the winners of our 2022 Sheridan Startup Challenge. And for the live stream folks, we will sign off after a few minutes after you've had a chance to vote. For you in the live audience, please go ahead and record your vote. We have a wonderful reception provided by Bonafide, and then the YO Theater has the beverage stand open. Please enjoy yourself. This is an opportunity to meet the finalists, to ask questions, to book those pre-orders if you would. I think they're ready to take those, or at least take names tonight. So once again, thank you for coming to this program. It's just been a pleasure to work with all of these folks, and I really look forward to probably 6 plans that are going to make real headway here in the next few months. So thank you very much.